Yes! Yes!
I recently completed my first ever overnight adventure bike camping trip.
Fuck.
In this episode, I'll share with you how I packed for it, what I learned, what I'll take again, and what I won't to make it better next time.
Hey legends, welcome back to the channel. Today I was just going to have a quick chat about my luggage setup for traveling and my first overnight camp. Obviously when you go and do these things for the very first time, like I did, you're going to learn a few things. That's what I'm going to talk about today. What I'd change, what I won't do again, what I will do again. So firstly, I opted for a Kriega OS base with the two 12-litre bags. I was considering going the 18-litre bags, and honestly, I'm very glad I didn't, because these 12-litre bags actually worked perfectly. It was a little bit tight. I probably overloaded them just in terms of filling them out. However, we'll get to that, how I think I can kind of get around that a little bit better next time. However, it's one of those things, like if you got more space, you're most likely just going to fill it with shit you don't need anyway. So I obviously wanted to try and pack as light as I could and still be able to carry all of my camping gear for overnight trips. So for me personally, I think this works the best because I just had the 20-litre roll top bag on top, which had all of my sleeping equipment. So if I do an overnight trip and I want to camp, had my telescopic fishing rod in there, my tent, my sleeping mat, and my sleeping bag was all in that top bit. So if I don't need to stay overnight, if I'm going to stay in hotels or pubs or whatever that looks like, and I still want to do a trip, that means I don't need that top bag, and it would even free up a little bit more space in these, because if I was doing that, I probably wouldn't need to take the food, as much food and the cooking equipment. So again, it's horses for courses, but personally, I believe for me, those 12 litres were the perfect choice, and I'm glad I went with those. So what did I learn? What would I change next time? So firstly, when I was packing this chair, I was like, fuck, this thing takes up a fair bit of room. It's actually pretty heavy. Do I really need it? 100% yes. This little chair was the best thing after a massive day on the bike, like just being able to kick back in this, put my feet up in front of the fire. Absolutely 110% worth every cent of space that it took up. And I will be taking that with me again, for sure. The cooker. This is something I'm on the fence about a little bit, honestly. It was awesome, don't get me wrong. However, I do think if you've got the ability to light a fire, which I did in this situation, and I think I would in most situations, I could do everything that this does with just a small, like a little billy on a fire, like as a saucepan type thing, which would potentially free up a little bit of space because I could stuff other things inside it, and it would definitely be a little bit lighter than this. It's got a little bit of weight in it, and it takes up a decent amount of space. Now, obviously, it's very convenient if you were getting into camp late, you didn't want to light a fire, or you couldn't light a fire, then this thing's awesome because you can just fire it up and cook a meal, heat up a meal. Otherwise, I think I'm going to trial just taking a little billy, honestly, and not taking that. Because it's just going to, one, weight, two, free up a little bit of space for me. So I'm on the fence with that. The other things which I will change is I took a full-size towel, it was a microfiber towel, a small one. I didn't actually need it because the weather was warm enough. When I did get in the river to go fishing and have a swim, I just stood in front of the fire for 10 minutes and I was dry anyway. So that was one, it just took up a lot of space, stuffing that in. I actually had it in my backpack with all my camera gear. So I'll take a smaller towel. I reckon I could just even get away with a little hand towel, a little microfiber hand towel next time. The other little lesson I learned was packing all of my food items into this Tupperware container. I had everything in separate little snap lock sandwich bags. However, snap lock sandwich bags don't really like jiggling around inside one of these. So I made a bit of a rookie error. I took a snap lock bag full of my hydration powder, which has got carbohydrate and electrolyte in it. It's just like a hydration powder. So I took some spare scoops of that to refill my Camelback each day. I also took a lemon because I was so confident I was going to catch trout. I took a lemon because I thought if I can cook a trout over the coals, squeeze a bit of lemon on it, wow, that's going to be chef's kiss. The lemon skin popped, the hydration powder bag popped, so I had hydration powder and lemon juice all through this thing. Luckily, that happened on the very first day. So when I got to Stell's suspension place, I opened this up to grab a muesli bar out, I think, and I'm like, oh, fuck, that has popped. So that was obviously a rookie error. I would individually pack everything in proper containers next time, rather than just the snap lock bag, especially something like that powder. I think the snap lock bag for the powder is fine. I just put it in the wrong spot. I shouldn't have put it in there with other hard objects. What I did after that was just put it in my Camelback in the little pocket, top of my Camelback. The other little thing that I would probably change where I could save a little bit of space is I took a hoodie because it obviously gets cold in the high country overnight. That was really nice in the morning to throw that hoodie on when it was like down to single digits. However, what I realized is I probably didn't need that. I had my Liat jacket that has the sleeves. I could have zipped onto that. Probably don't need the hoodie. Like I could have just worn my Liat jacket in that instance in the morning just to stay a little bit warmer. So I'm thinking next time I might even maybe take a real thin thermal, a long sleeve top, which would pack down smaller. Again, those types of things, they're not heavy, they just take up space. So I had like a full change of clothes stuffed in around everything in these, which just obviously fills them out. So I think that's where I could save a little bit of space, would be just the clothing I take. And obviously that's going to depend on what you're actually doing when you get to where you're going. But for me in that case, I think I could trim that back by not taking a hoodie. And the other thing would be where I could gain some more space would be in my roll top bag with all my sleeping gears. I'm quite lucky in this fact that I never had to buy any of this. Like I bought the luggage in terms of all this, the cooker and all this other stuff. My wife is into bushwalking, hiking. So all of this other stuff is hers, the tent, the sleeping bag, the mat, all that stuff for camping overnight, hiking wise. I didn't have to buy a single thing, which was awesome. So that sleeping bag that I used is probably on the cheaper end of the spectrum. So it doesn't pack down to that small. Same with the sleep mat. The sleep mat I used was awesome. It was like this thick, which was great, but it doesn't pack down that small. So I think I can save myself some space there. They're pretty expensive, a better sleeping bag, but you can get better sleeping bags that pack down a lot smaller. And I'd probably just get a thinner sleeping mat. I don't think I need a sleeping mat that's over 100 mil thick. So a thinner sleeping mat, a more expensive sleeping bag that packs down small. It wasn't cold by any means, just I want one that packs down smaller. And then just my clothing, my not taking a hoodie. I think just those few things would free up a lot of space. And then I'm going to experiment not taking that and just taking a little billy. And I think those few little things would free up a little bit of space. So then I'm not, like I said, it worked fine. It all fitted in there. It was just extremely tight. Like I could only get those bags to roll up like one roll. And then I'm like yanking on those straps to get the buckles to click in. So it was on the limit. And like I say, a couple of things that I probably didn't need to take, and a couple of things that I can minimize down smaller. So that just means that I'm not going to be as pressed for space. And then even if I did go for more of a multi-day ride where I wasn't going to be able to get food potentially, or I needed to carry more water or something like that, it would free up a little bit more space in these 12-litre bags. So yeah, that's just what I learnt from my first overnight camping trip. Like I said, I think I did a pretty good job. Like I'm super stoked with those 12-litre bags and everything like that. Just some very minor tweaks I think will give me a little bit more space if I need it, and just make it a little bit easier to pack. So if you're going to do an overnight trip, hopefully that helps. If you got any tips or things that you have had luck with on your overnight trips, pop them down in the comments.